don't know.
What I told you, Cutter.
People seen it, but they just don't know. People seen it, but they just don't know.
Huh?
People,
Let's go.
people seen it, but they just don't know. People seen it, but they.
What's going on? What's going on? It's your boy I gone in. And we're here on 910 Sports Podcast Show once again. You know what I'm saying? First and foremost, I want to thank God for this opportunity to be on this great platform. You know what I mean? We got some big things coming up. We'll be able to probably talk about them soon. But we got some big things. I'm going to tell y'all we are going to be on TV in a major way very soon. So I want to introduce my right-hand man, your baby mama's favorite host, Barry White Jr., the next voiceover of America and around the globe, my man Jacob the Great. What's going on, fam?
Man, what's happening, man? Glad to be in the land of the living, man. Good things are upon us. More opportunities, connecting with more people, and the 901 Sports Youth Football Camp. We'll be doing it. We'll be launching that next summer. You know what I mean? And so
Okay.
we'll be launching that next summer, man. Working on some things, for a football camp and a basketball camp. You know what I'm saying?
That's
Or
what's
even
up. That's what's up.
I say the 901 Sports Round Top Ball Classic, basketball classic. You know what I mean?
Okay. That's what's up.
And
Yeah,
guess what
so
we're gonna have there at that basketball tournament
where's that?
in your hometown.
Oh, in my hometown or home state?
Your hometown, brother.
What you mean?
We're gonna have it in your hometown. We're gonna get with your coach that coach the boys now, and we're gonna run a basketball camp at the gym that you used to shoot in.
Oh, okay. Shoot, I don't know about the gym I used to shoot in. I don't think I don't even know what they got going on there. But
You know what I'm saying? The gymnasium that's at the high school you went to. You know what I mean?
yeah. I feel you.
Yeah.
So basically, y'all, we're doing things a little bit different. We're gonna get in and out of topics, but at the same time, it is NBA free agent frenzy week, and so we're gonna be talking about that now. So before we came on the show, just want to give a couple of updates. Chris Paul did get waived by the Golden State Warriors. So that 30 million or more is guaranteed. It wasn't guaranteed anyway. So he did get waived. So that gives him opportunity to either probably more than likely sign with it could be the Lakers or somebody else at this point. I think they was trying to work on a trade, maybe a little trade and put him in that trade and move him to where he wanted to go, but it didn't. I guess it didn't manufacture. So in other words, he's gonna be a free agent to move on. I'll more likely see him going to the Lakers. He may go somewhere else, but I don't see Chris Paul continue to play unless he's on either a team a player he wants to play with or a team he feels like he can win a championship with now. You know what I mean? That's only a few teams out there I see him going to at this point in his career. And I know there's been a lot of talk about him going to the Lakers. Next, we have, on a smaller scale, Luke Cornett has agreed to a one-year deal to return to the Celtics. Role player, backup player, black backup center. Played a few minutes when Porzingis went down in the playoffs, so he's coming back. Klay Thompson plans to have discussions with the Mavericks, Lakers, Clippers, 76ers in the opening hours of free agency. So that could be something that could manufacture pretty quickly. I know a lot of these teams want to get players signed because the thing about this year in free agency that's different than most years is that a lot of these teams they have to get players locked up on a lower scale faster because you can't have a big three anymore. Phoenix tried to sneak it in last year because of this new apron rule, and they got these aprons. It's kind of hard to explain unless you understand salary caps and everything. But these teams can't really load up on great players. They can only have maybe two max players at one time and then go out and get maybe a smaller star and some role players. I don't even know how the Celtics team is even have all the players they have the way they structure it, but But they was able to pull it off. But I think within the next year or two, they're gonna have to start unloading some of the players that they have because their salary cap is gonna be too big. Um, you know, so that's where we at right now. But I'm gonna keep y'all updated throughout the show. First thing we're gonna get into. Well, I'm gonna let my partner see what he wants to get into first. Then we're gonna go from there.
We'll talk about LeBron James. He didn't accept the 50-year option, so he's expected to get a 3-year extension for 162 million. D'Lo, D'Angelo Russell took his option, so he'll get 18.5 million this year. And congratulations to Bronny James for getting drafted. You know, it's some fans been in an uproar about he didn't work hard as people like my man from NC State that didn't get drafted but still got signed. You know, he was undrafted. Um, he averaged 16 and 16.2 points a game, 13.3 rebounds, and um, the Cavaliers picked him up, and he's dropped about 45 pounds. You know what I mean? My man DJ out of NC State, and so I think that when it comes to Bronny, we're working on his mechanics and stuff like that of basketball. I think he's going to be a dynamic point guard. I think it's going to be a development process, but I think working with his dad and his dad getting him, you know, the top-notch coaches and whatnot, not even during the season, but off the season, you know, because his dad is a workaholic. So I think training with his dad is going to be awesome. So who do you guys feel got the best pick? I want to say the Lakers got a great pick. I want to say San Antonio got great picks. Um, I want to say that who has got New York got some good picks. So if you had to grade 5 teams during the NBA draft, Icon, what would you grade them, and who would those 5 teams be?
Um, I would say I'm gonna say the Spurs, they got a couple of good picks. I like the fact they got Harrison Ingram in the second round. I think he's a definitely underrated player. Cause see, the thing about it is, a lot of people get so caught up in these 18, 19-year-old players coming in, but you get a player like a Harrison Ingram, who's a veteran guy who played basically 4 years in college, like old school players did. He comes in with a more polished game. He can post you up. He can hit a three. He rebounds at a very high level. Not to say he's going to rebound that level in the NBA, but he would give Carolina 15 to 20 rebounds on occasion. He gonna give you at least 10 to 12 on an average night and give you 15 to 20 on a great night. So, and he has a high motor. He loves the game. He's always smiling. I think once he gets in the league a few years, he can be a good glue guy, veteran guy in the locker room. So I think he's going to be a very good complement to Wemby, or whatever. So I think that's, to me, I felt like what they got in the draft, and I know they got another guard. I can't remember his name right now, but I think what the Spurs did in the draft, definitely I will put up there in the top top five. I like what the Lakers did because Dalton Connect was one of those players that, to be honest with y'all, this year wasn't one of my best years or favorite years of watching the draft. A lot of the guys I didn't know, some of the guys I did know, I'm like, they gonna come in, they gonna be cool. Most of them probably gonna end up just being role players. They're not gonna make a major impact. But Dalton Connect is one of those players. I felt like when I watched him in college, I said this guy can flat out shoot. He's competitive. He's gonna ball out. I said, so Dalton Connect kind of reminds me. He can shoot like a Kyle Korver or Mike Miller. He's a little bit more athletic, and I think that's what the Lakers need, somebody like him that can shoot. Defensive wise, he might not gonna give you a lot right now, but I don't think that's necessarily what they need from him. From him, they need him to come off the bench and maybe give him 3 or 4 threes a game or whatever. I think he's capable of doing that at times or moments throughout the season, especially when you got people like Cam Reddish who's not consistent. Hopefully, Gabe Vincent next year will be back and he can play better and get back to what he was in Miami. That's if the roster stays where it is. I got a funny feeling that a couple of these guys are going to be gone. But as we're looking at it right now, I think it's a great thing. Now, when it comes to other teams, I would say Minnesota. I would put Minnesota in there. Getting my man from Kentucky, the guard from Kentucky. He kind of puts you in the mind of a little bit like of a Terrence Maxey or somebody. He got a high motor. He basically can create, get to the basket, shoot a little bit. So I think that's going to help Minnesota with their bench and having another player that can score off of Ant Edwards or whatever. So I think he maybe bring them a little bit more consistency with the scoring on the scoring end. So I will put them in that top five. And the last two teams, I would say, what's my man Shepard, Reed Shepard from Kentucky? Was it from Kentucky? I think he went to, was it Utah? So I think that's a big thing. And I hate to say this, but I'm gonna say it. My man from Duke, Filipowski. I was actually shocked that he went so late, but I think he's gonna have an instant impact automatically or whatever. Who did he go to? I have to look that up real quick. Filipowski, but they was the other team that I say had an instant a good day in a draft just by getting, or day two actually, since they doing 2 days. Um, I didn't understand it why they do 2 days, but I said, well, at the end of the day, it makes it kind of a little bit more intriguing by doing 2 different days, I guess. But where did Kyle Filipowski go? Because I think whoever got him, I think that was a good look. Because trying to remember where he went. I'm trying to look it up now. Um, where did he go? He went to the Jazz. So yeah, so him going to the Jazz, yeah, I think that's a good look for them. And then I'm trying to say Reed Shepard, because I don't think he went to the Jazz too. Reed Shepard went somewhere else. That would be the other team I'll put in the top five, because I think Reed Shepard can flat out ball. You know what I'm saying? So who's your top five?
I'm gonna say my top five would be probably the same as yours. But I really like the New York pick, Bridge, old boy up, and then I like that they also getting a few people out the draft too, a few promising people that's not at big name schools, but they had good numbers. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of people, like I remember when people used to say back in the day, man, Notre Dame, ain't what they who gonna pick up LaFonso Ellis, man? Like he played for Notre Dame. That's not a basketball school. But when he came into the league, he did all right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, he did all right.
Mm-hmm.
So it's gonna be interesting. Now, another interesting thing, Paul George, he didn't take that 50 option. Um, Boston has to pay Derek. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, Trey Young is not gonna take, his 50 option. It's man, Trey Young 4 years went by fast though, man.
Yeah, it did.
So
Did.
you got Trey Young. You got old boy that just went over to the Pelicans, which is a good look for them. You know what I mean? A very good look for them.
Yeah, you talking about DeJounte Murray.
It's a good look for them. And we also gonna talk about Sacramento because Mike Brown, you on the clock, bro. Bro, you on the clock. You on the clock, bro. Y'all ain't got out there first round, boy, and y'all supposed to have the most impactful youngest team in the league. But boy, it's like the way they put their team together. OKC, people ain't talk about Sacramento no more.
No, no. I mean, I think they still in the mix. I don't think that it's not like it was a couple of years ago when you was like, oh, Sacramento coming. I think last year they had a down year, and so I think with their situation, it's going to be harder for them to compete with the top level teams. Now, I will say this now. Denver may actually not be as potent as we think they are next year because it's a very good chance they may lose KCP. They can't really afford him, and unless he probably takes less money, which I don't think he
Hold up,
will,
bro.
because if he's still under Clutch Sports, you
Who they
already
paying?
know Rich Paul is not going to allow him to take less money.
Who they
So
paying besides the Joker? They ain't paying nobody else. Murray.
they playing,
Murray.
but they paying. See the way the new salary cap works, or the apron thing. They paying Murray, they paying Jokic, but they pay Porter and what's his name, Aaron Gordon. They pay them like a high mid-level salary, so they paying them like 25, 30 million or whatever a year, whatever they paying them. So whatever they paying them, it makes it harder for them to sign a KCP back. So now you got to think about it. Over the last 2 years, they lost Jeff Green, they lost Bruce Brown. If you lose KCP, and people, if you watch Denver, Denver functions off of all 5 of those players that start lineup working together. Now, if you lose another piece from that lineup, especially from 2 years ago, now that even cripples them a little bit even more. So now they not as potent as you think they are going into the playoffs. That's why they got exposed against Minnesota when whatever. So I think that's the same. So I think it's gonna. And then you got to think, can Murray always stay healthy? He have little knick-knack injuries. You know what I mean? For years, Michael Porter had issues with his back. Is that gonna hold up? So I don't necessarily think Denver is necessarily gonna be the team to beat moving forward. One of these other teams will be. You know what I'm saying? So especially look at the Knicks in the East. I think the Knicks right now, if you ask me, I think Knicks going to the finals next year. If you ask me right now, that's what I think.
Mm-hmm. I couldn't eat.
I'm putting it out there right now.
I couldn't eat.
I'm putting it out there right now. The Knicks is my team to go to the finals.
You must got off the phone with Stephen A. Smith.
No, I just look at what they got. But if you look at what they had in the playoffs, the one thing about the Knicks that they do, they play hard. They play harder. Really, they play harder than everybody else. The thing about New York problem in the last few years is that they've been void of talent that can get them over the hump. Now you got a Mikal Bridges. Mikal Bridges is that guy. He that dude. He that dog. Mikal Bridges put me in a mind of like a Derek White. You know what I'm saying? A Derek White. If you watch Boston wouldn't have won that championship without Derek White. And that's what Mikal Bridges is going to bring to New York. You know what I'm saying? And then he plays defense. So you think about him going against a Derek White or whatever, him being able to guard a little bit a Jaylen Brown or a Drew Holiday or whatever. So that's the type of player that you got in him to go along with whatever else they have. You know what I mean? Or whatever. Julius Randle, if he stays healthy, think about next year. If he stays healthy, they're gonna be hell to beat. They're gonna be very hard to beat. Cause now, see, the thing about with Julius Randle being on New York now versus the last couple of years is you're not asking him to do as much. You're not asking him to close the game. So at the end of the game, you can have Jalen Brunson. You can have a Mikal Bridges. You can have one of these other guys that can be the closer to make the big shots in the games instead of all this weight they put Julius Randle as a 1 and he's not. Julius Randle is like a 2 or a 3. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever. And now he can be a 3 on some nights and or whatever, because you got Jaylen Brown that can give you 20, that's gonna give you 30, and then Mikal Bridges, shoot, he give you 25 to 30 on any given night. So in that situation, I just feel like at the end of the day, that's the team. And I just feel like Boston is not gonna be as hungry next year. I watched Boston play. Boston really beat everybody off of their talent. And then going into next year, And in the playoffs, they got lucky because every team that basically had a top star, every team top star got hurt until they got to the finals. So I just don't believe Boston's going to be as hungry next year to win back to back. It's not like other teams that want that second chip in a row. I just don't see Boston being that, having that dog in them to win 2 years in a row. I may be wrong, but I just don't see it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm looking at it from the top player or whatever, being whatever. And then see, the thing about Jason Tatum, if you watch what he doing lately, since they won, he made a comment about him being the best player in the world. You know what I'm saying, or whatever. Off of that championship, dude, you weren't even the best player in the playoffs on your team, let alone in the world. So stop it. I'm telling you now, leave it alone. Because if you had that attitude all summer, it's gonna bite you in the butt.
I'm gonna say that y'all go in too much on Tatum, man. I'm gonna tell you why. His numbers is way better than Jaylen Brown numbers. Way better. Rebounds, points, assists, they better. Are they more impactful? No. No, they're not. But take him off that team, though, they definitely ain't gonna win no championship.
Oh, no. I'm not saying that at all. But what I'm saying is, he made 2 comments throughout the year. Well, he made one comment, but this is why I was getting on him throughout the playoffs. Before the playoffs started, he said, when they asked him who's the next face of the NBA, and he said, well, if we win, it might be me. So when you put that out there, that basically you're going to be the face of the NBA. But then when it comes to the playoffs, you don't play as the best player in the NBA type basketball. When Denver won, we knew who the clear-cut best player on the team was. When Milwaukee won, we knew who the best player. Hell, in both cases, the best player on the team and the best player in the playoffs that particular year. This year, you cannot definitively say, oh, Jason Tatum was the best player. If that's the case, then how is it that your teammate won both MVPs, the first Eastern Conference MVP and the Western and the NBA Finals MVP? Your teammate won that, not you. So if you're the best player, you got to win one of them, at least the Eastern Conference or the NBA Finals. You got to win one of them MVPs if you're gonna call yourself the best player in the NBA.
Well, man, a lot of people feel that Shaq shouldn't have won those MVPs with the Lakers. They feel like Kobe should have at least won 2 out of 3. That's the way they feel.
I mean, to be honest with you, I'm not privy to argue. I'm not gonna want to be to argue on that one because I vaguely remember every detail of those series or whatever the case may be, or whatever. So I know that in that situation, it was kind of like what you were just saying. They were probably looking at Shaq numbers because he was dominating, especially in the finals. I think one of the finals he averaged like 30 and 18 or something ridiculous, or 35 and 20 or some ridiculous number he had in one of them finals or whatever. And so I think that's what they was looking at from that standpoint of the way, like Kobe. Of course, Kobe was the closer in those finals and probably would make a lot of those big shots. But as far as the way that Shaq dominated game after game, that's just like if you watch Denver. Jokic would dominate most of the game, but a lot of times Murray was the one hitting the shots. If you watch the Lakers play against Denver, it was Murray that was killing them in the fourth quarter. It wasn't really Jokic that was killing them in the fourth quarter. It was Murray. And if they bottle Murray up or whatever, then they may be a kick out to when in somebody like a KCP or Michael Porter, somebody hit a timely shot to seal the deal. But with Murray that would hit big shot after big shot against the Lakers. Hell, I've never seen it hit in the NBA history. You can go, I don't care who you name, Kobe, Jordan, you know what I'm saying, Larry Bird, whoever you want to name, as far as players that hit shots at the buzzer or whatever. I've never seen a player hit 2 buzzer-beating shots in the same playoff series against the same team. I've never seen that before. You know what I'm saying? He did that twice, basically with the same shot against the Lakers. You know what I'm saying, or whatever. So, I mean, but I get what you're saying about Tatum. The reason why I get on Tatum, it's not, I'm going to be honest with y'all. It ain't even so much about Tatum. It's more of a personal thing of if this would have been LeBron or this would have been some other players, even Stephen Curry, y'all would have had more to say about it when they not. Hell, Stephen Curry is still being challenged about how great he is, and it took him until he won his first MVP on the fourth title for people to say how great he was. You know what I'm saying, or whatever. So I just feel like Tatum doesn't get. If you're a superstar, then you get the same criticism as you do get should get praise. And I think the criticism and the praise doesn't add up with him when it comes to superstar players. It just don't. They just get whatever reason they always get Jason Tatum a pass. You know what I mean? Like Stephen A. Smith was campaigning for him to be MVP all year, and I'm like, no, just because he's the best player on the best team, but the team is loaded. It's not like he's the best player on the best team, and it's only like one or two other players on the team that's great, and then they winning all these games. If you watch Boston was loaded. You got players that's been in all-star games, players that's on second, first team, all defense team players, all this stuff with Drew Holiday and Derek White and Al Horford, past all-star game player. Of course, Jalen and what you call it, Jalen and Jason. Then you got what's the name, Porzingis. You know what I mean? So the Boston was loaded. So no, I'm like, no, just because he's the best player. Just because he's the best player on the best team, and then whatever record-wise doesn't mean he's the MVP. Because the MVP means, I'm not saying they would have won a championship without him, but if you took Jason Tatum off Boston, would they still might have been a 50-win team? Possibly, maybe. I would say, yeah. You know what I mean? I think some of the other players could have picked up the slack a little bit when it comes to that. So that's just my thinking. But I think there's other players that was worthy. To me, I definitely would have gave it to Shea out of Shea, because what Shea got a bunch of bona fide good to maybe soon to be superstar or star players on his team. But what Shea did with in Oklahoma City, you know what I'm saying? You only see maybe LeBron do that with Cleveland back in the day and some other players. Because we still don't know if those players going to be like great players moving forward. They just might have had a great season. But we don't know if they're really going to be great players. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Shea got robbed.
Yeah, he got robbed. I like Jokic. Don't get me wrong. I think Jokic is probably the first or second best player in the NBA, depending on what you're going by and what you're looking at. But he's definitely in the top 2-3 players. But Shea, I watched Shea throughout the playoffs, and I did not lose that series because of him. Because Shea showed up every night. So it wasn't because of them. They just went against a better team, but they did not lose that series because of him.
So you know what I mean? So you don't think that Doc Rivers is gonna win a championship with Milwaukee?
No.
A lot of people said he just had a first bad season.
Put it like this, bro. I'm gonna put it to you like this. When he came in, the first interview or press conference, and said, man, I should have started after the All-Star game. It's a lot going on. It's a lot that I need to figure out, this, that, and the third. So think about Doc Rivers, and I heard JJ Redick say it, and I've heard other people say it. Doc Rivers one of them type of people, he'd try to have a built-in excuse before he ever does anything, or he has a built-in excuse for everything to justify when they lose. Or whatever, instead of just taking blame or whatever for what's going on. And like we talked about, me and you talked about this, Jacob. The man, Adrian Griffin had a 30, what was the record? 31-10?
30-13.
30-13 record. I've never seen in basketball a first-year coach have a winning record. I think they was at the time. I think they was like at least maybe second in the NBA, behind Boston, and he gets fired. And then Doc Rivers comes in, and they go like 14-16 after that. So you're gonna tell me by you just changing the coach that you fall off that much, and you have arguably the top 5. Some people maybe think top 3 best player in the world on your team, and you drop off that much? No. And then,
I don't know, man. That's playing.
I'm just like, no, it doesn't add up. It doesn't add up. You shouldn't have it'd be different if it was like you have a great player, like let's say you had Laurie Marketing out in Utah. He's a great player, but you don't consider him no top 5, top 10 player. So if they start losing with him, then you can be like, okay, I can see it. But you got a dominant player that gives you 30 points, 15 rebounds. Then you have the second best shooter, long range shooter in the game, and Dame Lillard, and you lose 14 out of 16 games. It doesn't make any sense. None. And then the whole thing was they were saying that they replaced him because Doc was supposed to bring a defensive presence in. Whereas they was
That
winning
ain't
all
why.
these games with
That ain't
Adrian
why.
Griffin.
That ain't why. That ain't why.
That's
That
what
ain't
they
why.
said. I ain't saying that's the
That-
real reason. I'm saying that's what they said.
Y'all replaced that man because he didn't think that Antetokounmpo's brother should get another contract.
They should have.
Like as somebody put up, they were talking about, they were showing Bronny stats at USC, and then somebody else put up Antetokounmpo brother, show his
Mm-hmm.
stats, and I said, man, that man, only thing he done did on the basketball court is probably spit on it,
Mm-hmm.
cause otherwise his sneakers don't touch the floor. Like he man, for him to just get a new deal with what Adidas, Reebok, Nike, one of them. How you get that man a sneaker deal, man? And we ain't even see him, and we ain't never seen him score a layup.
And who wearing these sneakers? That's what I want to know. Who wearing Tahanis, whatever his name is?
I guess,
Yeah,
I guess,
Tenacious,
I guess,
Tenacious.
I
Tenacious
guess the
sound like
people,
huh?
I guess the people back in Brazil and Nigeria and Czech Republic and Belgium and I don't know, man.
Yeah, cause Tenacious sound like something you put on your foot if you got a foot injury. I want to get, baby, go in there. So some of your grandma tell you to go to the bathroom. Baby, go in there and get my Tenacious out of there. You know what I mean? That's what that sound like. So I'm like, man. So
And and,
another
and,
no.
and, and then and then Giannis made a statement: wherever I play, my brother play.
He said what?
Wherever he play, his brother play.
So I
If
guess
if
we get.
if if they give me a deal, they give my brother a deal. Any endorsement deal, my brother gotta get one too.
So this what leads it to our next story. Hold on, I'm looking at something real quick. Okay, I was just trying to make sure, trying to see if I seen any what they call Woj bombs come out yet or whatever.
When I
Trying to
think
see.
of Giannis, man, the first thing come to mind is him doing a duet with Mariah Carey because he a diva.
Yeah. So so that leads us into the next thing. Basically talking about LeBron James' son, Bronny. And so
Huh?
something that people got to realize too. And it's funny because somebody, I know they was coming at me when they said it on Facebook because we go at it all the time. They think that
You
basically
talking
because
about you just talking about old boy you be going with all the time?
yeah, he be coming at me all the time, but the thing about it, because he hate on LeBron so bad, he hate LeBron like with a passion. It's like his whole life existence every day. He's like the black Skip Bayless. His whole
Uh,
life is existing to destroy LeBron's life, career, whatever or whatever by trying to figure out ways to come up. Like he even stood on the whole him on steroids and this, that, and the third. And I'm like, bro, you think that the NBA, like, it's not people out there, if he really on steroids, they would expose him right now. Everybody's not out there trying to protect LeBron like you think they are. It's people out there that would expose him. And all the people that hate that man, it's somebody that would expose him if they really had real proof on him doing steroids. And then so secondly, yesterday he like basically, they post something and I guess I said something based off of his post or whatever. And I'm like, first of all, bro, you thinking too much of yourself. Secondly, I base it off of what I'm seeing overall on Facebook or whatever. When I see a post when people bashing it, and I'm like, me and you know this, Jacob. We've been in the entertainment business for a long time. Nepotism is the biggest reason why a lot of these people are the way they are. You think a lot of these people are on television, movies, all these platforms based off of them being talented? Hell no. A
Nah,
lot of these people are on these television shows, these movies, even in sports, in positions, especially when you're talking about administration side. If you look at the Lakers organization, Kurt Rambis, what's the name? Kurt Rambis' wife, I think it is. All these people are with Lakers because of nepotism. Has nothing to do with they know what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, that's just always the way it is. A lot of people get to the top, like me and you talk about all the time. The music business is 90% business, 10% music. And that really, but what we really trying to say is, because a lot of it got to do with who you know and how you know them and what they willing to do for you to get somewhere. You know what I'm saying? So that's a lot of times where all of this is. That's just like, I don't care if you're a lawyer, if you some kind of big executive somewhere in downtown. Why you think they have dinner parties? They have dinner parties for you to be able to get around other people to network to be able to go to the next level. That's the whole point of having these dinner parties when politicians get together. They do it so they can network with the right people.
nah, my whole there. Now, cuz this what I say about me and you. Man, you need to be in the room with them. The city councilman, the House of Legislators, the House of Delegates. You know why? Because in any business you in, if you're in the room with them, they feel like you have became an important person. Because people who of importance don't show up and talk to them. You know what I mean? And
Mm-hmm.
and when it comes to Bron, say LeBron said that he was having his annual gala. I'm gonna find out who his PR is to see if we can get on that card. See how
Mm-hmm.
much the tickets is, or see if we could be honorary guests. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? And from what
Mm-hmm.
I understand about LeBron, he just might live. Tell him, come on.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? They got a podcast. They tell him, come on. Oh,
Exactly.
oh, oh, they on TV. Oh, they were like, yeah, they on a couple TV networks. Oh yeah, tell him, come on. That's how he is though. And
Yeah.
now I tell people through and through, I'm an MJ fan, diehard. But I'm gonna say this right here, man. In my eyes, it's three people that I'm always mentioning: MJ, Coleman, Braun. Not because of who they are, just because how they shape the game of basketball, how they really change the narrative of it. You know what I mean? How those three people have sold the most tickets ever when it comes to basketball arenas.
Mm-hmm.
That's called impact. It's like I was watching Caitlin Clark today, right? I'm looking at one side of when she playing the Phoenix Mercury. I'm looking at their side and I'm looking at Indiana side. Man, it ain't even close.
Mm-hmm.
So my sister said it's three people that people hate on consistently: LeBron James, Caitlin Clark, and Bronny James.
Mm-hmm.
And I find it to be true. Like that man, that you should be glad that man that made it to the NBA. That man could have died of cardiac arrest. Like, what
Mm-hmm.
is wrong with people, man?
And then also, Jacob, this too. People got to realize something. Me and you know this, but a lot of casual fans don't. Bronny James was drafted in the second round, meaning if you're drafted in the second round, your contract is not guaranteed. So what he still has to do, he still got to go out there and prove that he can play basketball on an NBA level. So he hasn't been given anything yet. And
Just
so
like,
at the end of the day,
just like
by him going,
our boy from North Carolina, he only has a 10-day contract, and he was the best defensive player in the world in NCAA. Mando Baycott was the best defensive player in college for the
who he
last
get
3
picked up
years.
by? Who he get picked up by?
I forgot who he got picked up by, but he has a 10-day contract, so that means that he has to
Okay.
prove himself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we in a time where Mando Baycott get a 10-day contract and Ben Wallace got drafted. They are the same player, bro.
Yep. Yep. And where did you say State? Where did the dude from State go? You said he got picked up too, right?
Yeah, Cleveland.
Okay. Okay.
But but
Yeah.
but
See,
but but he didn't get drafted. He was undrafted, and they still signed him.
yeah. So that means he gonna have to earn that spot. Thing about it is with Bronny James. At the end of the day, okay, let's just say one of two things gonna happen. Either he can play or he can't play. You know what I'm saying? So if he not good enough to get out there on the court, they're not gonna put him on the court. If he is, then let's watch him. Let it unfold. Who is it hurting by them picking up Bronny James? It's not hurting nobody. It's not killing. You know how many players get picked in the second round every year that don't make the team? They end up in the G League and out the league in 3-4 years.
But here's the kicker though. Say Bronny don't make it in the league, which I really think he will. Rich Paul already got him set up to get paid $10 million a year in Australia. Come on, man.
That's what I'm saying. That's why he said, if I don't go to the Lakers, I'm going to Australia.
He said, man, that he talked to Bronny. Bronny said he grateful to be in to get drafted. He said, but at the same time, I just want to play basketball, no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
The kid just want to play basketball, man.
And I'm gonna tell y'all this: if you watch USC last year, that coach, whoever he had, he was in over his head. That coach had Isaiah Collier, he had Bronny James, he had Dennis Rodman Jr., and they could not sniff a win on most nights. So
I kind of did Dennis Rodman Jr. stay?
I think he did, because I don't think he didn't get drafted, but I think he stayed another year.
Because
you know what I mean?
Isaiah got drafted.
Yeah, he got drafted. He got drafted in the second round. I forgot by who, but he got drafted as and Reed. He went to Houston, so that's a good look for him. But Isaiah Collier, I know he got picked up early in the second round. I just can't remember by who. See if I can look that up right fast. Because I remember seeing his name when they were talking about the most available, and he was the most available player between him and Cal Filipowski at the time. So I think that's definitely a good look for whoever got him, because he can play. He can play a little bit. I mean, of course they all young, and we expecting all these young players to come in and ball out. And everybody's not gonna come in and have that big of an impact coming into the game off the rip. He went to the Jazz too. So the Jazz ended up getting Isaiah Collier, and they got Filipowski too. Is that correct? So if they got him and Filipowski, Utah did pretty good in the draft.
Yeah.
Yeah. So both of them went with the Utah. So that's a good starting piece for them moving forward to get both of them players. So I definitely have to put them in the top 5 as far as draft. You know what I mean? Because I'm not no Duke fan, but Filipowski he fits the new NBA. He's that big man that can shoot. You know what I'm saying? He can rebound a little bit. He can post up, but he's that big man that can shoot threes at a high clip. So I do feel like he fits the new NBA perfectly. You know what I mean? You might not be a fan of him, but
who them 3-6-8 dudes that played for Kansas went to, man?
To play for Kansas?
Yeah.
I said I can't. I don't even want to lie to you, but I do. I can't remember where all of them went. I can't even. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Listen, I don't know what it is about Kansas, man, but if you watching NCAA basketball, you got to know that Kansas is gonna be in the top 5 every year, man.
Yeah,
you got to know that.
And then my man went to Connecticut. The one I'm thinking about too, from Connecticut, he went to San Antonio.
Okay.
What's his name? The Stephen Castle.
Right.
He was like the best player on the team. He went to San Antonio. So they got 2 studs that went to San Antonio to play with Wemby.
Okay. And then, man, what's so interesting to me, man, is I think that Amanda Baycott is gonna get, like me myself. I ain't never thought he should develop a 3-pointer. I always thought he just need that 17-footer like Patrick Ewing, like Elijah Warren, like David Robertson, like Tim Duncan. Just that little 17-footer, man.
You know what's crazy? What's crazy though, he went back to the college basketball because he had to show the scouts that he could at least maybe develop that part of his game. So if you notice throughout the season, especially when it was games they was winning by a lot of points or something, he would shoot a three here and there or whatever. He hit a few of them. Don't get me wrong, but it's sad that they telling a big man, oh, in order for you to really get a legit chance of getting drafted or playing in the NBA, you gotta develop a 3-point game. You know what I'm saying? Or be able at least willing to do it. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, at the end of the day, you know, that's just that's the new world we in. Big men having to play like they guards. You know, everybody thinking like I'm thinking they cat. Then they call Anthony Towns, and that's what it's all about. So that's where we at in the NBA now. It's sad
And
to say, but that's where we at.
that's the reason why people. That's the reason why people like Kenyon Martin and Gilbert Arenas and Rashard McCants. That's why they said the NBA is no American league no more. This is a Euro league. It's not
Mm-hmm.
American basketball. It's Euro basketball.
Yep, it is. It is.
And it's like everybody's so fragile these days, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, of course, LeBron could have played in the league back in the day. You know, KD could have played because KD a little bit taller, man. But KD got a game that kind of reminds you of Reggie Miller in some ways. How he can come off the screen and just pop it, and he ain't got to dribble and stuff like that. That's Reggie Miller. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And
Mm-hmm.
but I just think, man, that we need to get back to the basketball basics, bro. It's too much running and gunning, and it's too many people that's 6'9", 7', 7'1", you know, 6'8", just shooting 3-pointers, man. Like, what are you doing, bro? Like, the best thing that you can do is take the ball to the cup and get an and one.
Mm-hmm.
That's the best, man. Everybody don't need to pull up for no three, man. And I fought LeBron sometime, man, because I said nobody can stop LeBron going to the hole, going to
Yeah.
driving to the basket. LeBron could have had so many and ones in that game against Denver. If he had just tucked the ball to the cup, the Lakers would have won that game.
Yeah, I think sometimes he kind of gets he kind of pisses me off with that a little bit when he does that. But I think at times too, he feel like he don't get the call, like he don't get the calls like he used to. So I think he just like, I ain't gonna keep going and killing myself if I ain't gonna never get the call. Um, so I think that's part of that reason. And then all these players, they done fell in love with the three. I've seen so many 3-on-1, 4-on-1 breaks where they'll throw it out to the 3-point shooter instead of shooting the layup, going to the basket. And even a lot of these coaches encouraging them, don't go to the basket. If you got a 3-point shot, take that. I mean, you take that, then that too. So they teach that back in like AAU and high school ball. So these players coming in NBA thinking that's what they're supposed to do.
Well, to me, it's really no more excitement. Is no more excitement in the game because when we was growing up, we used to be ready for Dominique the Yoke, or Mike, or even Sean Kemp, man, or how the X Man would come baseline and yam on somebody, man. Or we used to be ready for, when we seen Brandon Roy dunk on somebody, when we seen Kevin Johnson, the little point guard, dunk on Akeem Olajuwon, man, like Barker dunk on somebody. Like now, these boys act like they scared to dunk the basketball.
But see, the thing about I'm gonna tell you why they encourage to play like they are, play the way they play now. Because if you get kids like my son's age and younger, they'll tell you. I mean, not my son in particular, but he told me that he's had people around his friends and people he went to college and high school stuff with. They look at like Michael Jordan as an average player because he wasn't a great outside shooter. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever. So the thing about it is these players, they're not going to watch these players if they play like a Xavier McDaniel or play like, certain players from back, or Charles Oakley or Anthony Mason, or even the boys down at the boys from Indiana, the Davis boys. These little kids ain't watching that. You know what I'm saying? They'll go up, man. We do something else. We ain't about to watch this. So that's why they encourage these players to play like they do, because they know the average fan, especially these kids, don't want to see that. That's why Stephen Curry really the one that I ain't gonna. He ruined the game. Nah, and I don't mean to say like ruin like in such a bad way, but I'm saying he ruined the game because he made everybody think they can do what he can do. So even though he globalized the game even more and put more eyeballs on it, it also the way he plays basketball ruined what we know what basketball was. You know what I'm saying, or whatever. So I think that was the biggest, the biggest thing with that is that as much impact he's had on the game, it's like the negative side of the actual game itself. He created that unintentionally. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not blaming him. I'm just saying his game, the way he plays the game, it gave people false narratives of that. Oh, I can do what Steph does because I am 6'1", 6'2". Everybody can't be bronze, 6'8", 6'9", 250 pounds. But more players are 6'1". Most players went to school with, high school with, they was 6'1", 6'2". That played ball, and it was built like Curry. They wasn't built like LeBron. You know what I'm saying? So that's why he created this false narrative, and everybody, even the big guys, think they can do what Curry does. You know what I'm saying? So, but I don't know. I can't hear you if you're talking.
I went to high school with some players that was built like my man from NC State.
Oh yeah. You definitely got a couple of them.
Mm-hmm.
You definitely got a couple of them. We had a couple like that in high school that was built like that. Especially they played more of the street ball, but yeah.
But they was asking him during the season what else he played. He said he was better at baseball than football and basketball.
Oh yeah. So they be like that. You find a couple like that.
Mm-hmm.
I had a guy that was like that. I had one of my good friends. He was heavy set, like my man that played for State, and shout out to Big Dane. And he could play, but he could ball. He could play. He played like my man. He'll post you up, and you know what I'm saying, and shoot that little mid range J or whatever. You know what I'm saying, or whatever. He was probably about 6. He wasn't as tall, but he was size wise. He was probably about the size of him at that time. So at that time, he was probably about 6. He about 6'1". You know what I'm saying, 6'2", whatever. But he played the same. He played exactly like dude did. You know what I'm saying? He just had more stamina.
I can dig it, man. I can dig it, but man, that's all I got for today, man. Just a recap of everything that's going on. Because we're in the summer mode, so we just recapping, getting ready for the Olympics and whatnot. But I'm ready for the gridiron season, the football season.
Yeah. So definitely this is gonna be our last episode of the season. Going into 910 Sports. We're gonna do one more episode of 95 South next week, and then we're going to our new season because we got a lot of big things coming up. We got some TV opportunities that we were blessed with earlier today, and we'll be able to talk about those throughout the next coming weeks. We'll post on our Facebook pages, Instagram, TikToks about what we got coming up, so people will know exactly where we going into all of this. So as far as the future holds for the 910 Sports Entertainment Network, 95 South, 910 Sports. So we definitely got some bigger things coming in the near future, next couple of weeks. Yeah, so we start off fresh with a brand new look, brand new sound. But anyway, you could drop our normal stuff and get out of here.
You're not tapped in with the 901 Sports Podcast Network, powered by the Village Global Network and Zeno FM, with online monitoring, with additional money with online radio box. You can catch us in Germany, Belgium, the Czech Republic. We tapped in with screaming in 191 countries. Shout out to T-Dubs Radio. Shout out to Independent Chicks. And shout out to, everybody that supports us, man. And just stay tuned because we coming.
Yes, sir. So everybody have a blessed and wonderful week. And we'll see y'all in a couple of weeks on 910 Sports. We out of here.
People seen it, but they just don't know.
What I told you, Cutter.
People seen it, but they just don't know. People seen it, but they just don't know.
Huh?